Yadevam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakan Vidamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpade Gope Sakavika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastade Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshare Prisabhano Sade Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare. So we are speaking about Srimad Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Jaiva Dharma. So you speak English? So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is the spiritual master or the father of our spiritual master, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, spiritual master Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. So his father was Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He was practically also his spiritual master. So he wrote many books, so that we discussed yesterday about his life. And so today we are speaking about one of his books, which is very famous amongst the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, amongst the followers of his son, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. So the first division is about Sambandha Gyan, about Dharma, Jaiva Dharma, Jivka Dharma, the religion of the soul. And so he's explaining in detail for the understanding of the devotees. First, in the first chapter, he's speaking about two kinds of dharma. One is Nitya Dharma and the other one is Naimittika Dharma. So Nitya means eternal, or that is the nature of the spirit soul and his relationship with God, with Krishna, or with Bhagavan. So different names, so Nitya Dharma there, also known as mentioned Jaiva Dharma, the Dharma of the Jiva, of the soul, Sanatan Dharma, Paro Dharma, so Vastav Dharma, real Dharma, Vaishnav Dharma. So Vaishnavas means those who are worshipping Vishnu, or the Supreme Lord, or Krishna, Bhagavan, Vishnu Tattva. That is real religion. And the other one, so that is temporary Dharma, Naimittika, which is only for some time. Just like the Christians, they're following a religion, the Christian religion, which is also explaining about God and about the soul. But there's no specific information about the kingdom of God. What is the name of God? What is he doing? So in the Bible, not much information is there. And the process which is given is very vague, not very specific. So, but still it is accepted, and those who are following, they can make some advancement in their spiritual life. But in order to gain perfection, they have to enter Nitya Dharma, Vastav Dharma, real Dharma. That is, by directly worshipping Krishna, or Ramchandra Bhagavan, or Vishnu, Lakshmi Narayan. That is real Dharma. That is Nitya Dharma, Sanatan Dharma. So the Krishna religion that is known as Naimittika Dharma, it is for some time. It came when Jesus Christ appeared. Jesus Christ, we accept him as a pure devotee of the Lord. He was empowered by the Lord to help the conditioned souls. And even it is recognized by many that he actually came to India. And he was even in Kashmir, he stayed there, he was in Tibet, and he learned some siddhis which he had there from the Tibetan monks. And he came to Vrindavan and Jagannath Puri also. And that is accepted even by some Christian priests. And even our acharyas have explained that, like Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So even the Mohammedan religion, that is for some time, but after some time it will go. Because again, the principles which are given and the knowledge which is given is not complete. So therefore it is helping some persons if they're following properly, but the problem that even nowadays they're not following properly. The Christian religion, neither the Muslim religion. They have some concoction. Because actually those who are following religion, they should be vegetarian. Even Jesus Christ was telling his followers, his disciples, not to eat meat. So and even nowadays there are some Christians who are not eating meat, but very few. Similarly, Muslims are there, some Muslims, they are not eating meat, but they are very few. Mostly they are eating meat and they have some concoction. And so therefore that is temporary. That will stay for some time, but after some years, 100 or 200 or 300 years, whatever, that will perish, this kind of a religion. And even, for example, Varna Ashram is there. So there are two kinds of Varna Ashram. One is known as Daivi Ashram, Varna Ashram, which is when one is keeping Krishna or Vishnu, Bhagavan in the center. That it is acceptable and that will help one to come to Nitya Dharma. But if God is not in the center, then it is known as Naimittika Dharma. It is temporary. Like now, for example, I may be a grihasta. You're a brahmachari, right? For some time. But for how long? We don't know. Maybe, we hope you can remain brahmachari, or maybe you want to get married. It may be. No, maybe not. You try to remain. Even sometimes we have seen sannyasis are there that try to remain sannyasi, but they cannot. They may change. Even grihasta, then after some time, now it's time to retire vanaprast or sannyas. So that is only for some time, and that refers to the body. But, so therefore it is known as naimittika, it is temporary. Whereas real seva is from the soul towards Bhagavan. And the first thing we understand in spiritual life, we are not this body, we are spirit soul, Atma. And we are in relationship with the Supreme Soul, with Bhagavan. And serving Krishna directly, that is Nitya Dharma, Vastav Dharma, the real religion. So that is explained. So in the second chapter is giving more example of Nitya Dharma and of the Jiva. So the Jiva is by nature pure and eternal. Like Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha. Krishna is eternal, full of bliss and full of knowledge. But he's unlimited. And the Jiva, we are part and parcels of Krishna. So Jiva Loka, Jiva Bhuta, Sanatana. By nature we are eternal as Jivatma. We are knowledgeable and full of bliss in a personal form. Sometimes people think Atma is just some little kind of spark. In the beginning it may be so, but the Atma actually as a form, but it is not manifest. So the Jivatma is pure by nature and eternal, and as a form that has to be realized. Atma Sakshatkar, direct perception of the self. And then Bhagavan Sakshatkar, then direct perception of Bhagavan can be there, of the Lord. So the relationship with the Lord is also eternal and pure. But when the Jivatma is in this material world, it is conditioned by the Jiv. And it is not aware of its relationship with God. So like, do you know your spirit soul, right? You know your spirit soul? You know this body, that is spirit soul, Atma, Jivatma? You know? You have realized yourself? No. It is not easy, it takes time. It takes time. But there is a process by which we realize. That is by sadhana bhakti. That is known as a process, abhidheya. So that we have to learn from the representative of the Lord or from the Lord himself. Like Krishna spoke to Arjuna, Bhagavad Gita, giving instructions so we may realize. Or in the Kali Yuga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who appeared 500 years ago, he gave knowledge by which we can realize our nature. So first we have to know we are spirit soul, we have a relationship with God, and then we have to practice. That is known as abhidheya, the process. And then we can realize, and then we can have the direct relationship with God, and we can love God, and there's a loving exchange. So the jiva is pure and eternal, and dharma, the relationship with God, that is also eternal relationship with God. So that is discussed. And then in the third chapter is explaining about this temporary religion that has to be given up ultimately. The conception that I'm a brahmana, I'm a kshatriya, I'm a man, I'm a woman. So that is temporary, but it's not our real self. That is dehatma buddhi, the intelligence of this material existence. But that is temporary, so that has to be given up. What is the real identity? I am the servant of Krishna. Jivera sopoi Krishnera nityadas. I am the eternal servant of Krishna. And with this knowledge, we should chant the holy names and we should serve. That is known Sambandha Gyan. While chanting Hare Krishna, we should be aware, I am not this body, I am spirit soul, I belong to Krishna. And we should try to remember Krishna, the Lord, while chanting, while serving. And the other conceptions, ultimately, they have to be given up. I'm a priest, I'm a doctor, I'm this or that. So, but of course, in ordinary dealing, that we have to also sometimes explain. If you go to another country, you have to show your passport. You cannot say to the person at the border, if he's asking, who are you? Or show me your passport. You cannot say, I'm spirit soul, I'm not this body. They will say, you're crazy. You have to show your passport and they will see your name. What are you doing? So we have to sometimes identify, or we have to explain our situation in this world. But at the same time we are aware that it's temporary and that we have to give up this conception and be fixed in the real conception that I am the servant of Krishna, of God. And we have to act accordingly. So next chapter is explaining further about Vaishnav Dharma. So another name for Dharma is Vaishnav Dharma. Vaishnav means a servant of Vishnu, or a name of Krishna. Krishna also may be addressed as Vishnu. So that is Nitya Dharma. So as explained in the beginning, different names for Dharma. The real Dharma, Vastav Dharma, that is Nitya, that is eternal, that is known as Vaishnav Dharma. Parodharma, so that is the supreme occupation. So Dharma means, religion or the constitutional position of the living entity. To be servant of God, to serve God. That is the nature of the jiva. Just like for water, you have water. What is the nature of water? It is liquid. And usually when we think of water and we want to drink, should be sweet water. So water is liquid and is sweet. But if you put the water in the fridge, it will become hard like ice. It can be used also, But even then, if you want to make something cold, you have the normal water, you put the ice, and then again it becomes to water. Similarly, by nature, we are servant of Krishna. We are supposed to serve Krishna. That is our nature, our dharma. But in the material world, it becomes bikrit, it becomes changed, and we identify with his body and we engage in material activities. So in order to, again, be properly situated, we simply have to serve Krishna. And then everything is, again, adjusted. Next is about the process of devotional service. So that is known as Vaidhi Bhakti. We have to follow some rules and regulations. Always, that is important. Like for example, so we get up early in the morning, then we have to take a bath, we go to the temple, see Mangalatik, then we have some sadhana, some practice, we chant japa, the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So that has to be followed, the rules and regulations. And then, and this is done on a daily basis. So that is also known as Nitya Karya, the daily activities. So Nitya means eternal, means also daily, Nitya, that which we have to do daily. So two kinds also. One is regarding to the body, taking bath and then putting on fresh clothes. And then we have to maintain the body, we have to eat something that is required. And then, so the gross body. But then the subtle body is there, and that has to be engaged in the service of the Lord also by thinking about the Lord, speaking about the Lord. So all the senses have to be engaged. Following rules and regulations with Krishna in the center, that is known as Vaidhi Bhakti. Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Things to do and things not to do. That has to be followed also. Like one should not lie, one should not cheat others, or so different things which are there which we should not do, that we have to know. And so then is explaining also that this Nitya Dharma that is beyond race and caste. It doesn't matter where from you come. If you're coming from America, you come from Africa, from anywhere, then you can adopt this process of devotional service. Some people, especially in India, they say that in order to worship the deities, Thakurji Seva, you must be born in India, you must be born in a Brahmana family. Then only. But, so that is actually not a fact, because by nature everyone is a servant of God. And by taking shelter of the spiritual master, who is a representative of the Supreme Lord, then we can be trained of how to worship the Lord. So it does not matter what is our caste or where from we are coming. Or man and woman, everyone is allowed to be engaged in devotional service. If one is coming from a Brahmana family, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra family, even outside, outcast, if they take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, guru, then they can engage in devotional service and they become purified in existence. And they can make advancement in spiritual life. So being in this material world, so we have a material existence, like especially the householders, they have to work according to their psychophysical nature. It may be Brahminical activities, like those studying the scriptures and then teaching the scriptures, or those worshipping the deities and then teaching about deity worship, doing yagyas and samskars and teaching to others. So that is Brahminical activity. In order and then for the pleasure of the Lord, but also to maintain oneself. The Brahmanas, they will not get salary, but they are receiving donations, dakshina. They do some ceremony, and after that, they will get a remuneration that is known as dakshina. In this way, they maintain themselves. Or the kshatriyas, that means the kings or soldiers, or it may be nowadays in this world, it means those who have managerial qualities. They may be CEO chief executive officer of a big company. So that means that they need intelligence to manage many people effectively and nicely. So that may be done. So, but the point is here actually that Krishna should be in the center. For the Brahman it is more easy, is worshipping the Lord. Krishna is in the center. Those who are working, let's say in a big company, then they have to meet with many people. But therefore they have to have a spiritual program in morning and evening. Like chanting the holy names, worshipping the deity, hearing the scriptures, and then they do their work, whatever it may be. They will earn some money, they can maintain the family. So that has to be done. So one ashram has to be followed, but the Lord should be in the center. And one has to be engaged in spiritual activities. Mukhya anga, the main limbs of devotional service have to be performed. And then the other activities, they become secondary, they are necessary also, but they are supplementary, that we have to understand. And then he's explaining in next chapter about Vaishnava behavior, proper behavior, sadachar. So, of course, you have to see time, place and circumstances. Like for example, in India it is easier to wear all the time dhoti, chadar, kurta. Not only as Brahmana, but even if one is working, sometimes they may even have that dress, depending where it is. In the village it is no issue. Even sometimes in the city, but that is more difficult. There one has to adjust. And one has to sometimes wear normal dress, but he may have kantimala to show that I'm a Vaishnava. That is a sign of a Vaishnava. He has a kantimala. Tulsi kantimala. And then, for example, wearing tilak. If maybe, even we're talking about Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was High Court judge. Of course, that was in the last century, that is more than 100 years ago. But he was wearing his normal dress, Vaishnav dress. At that time, there was no issue. But nowadays, if you're a High Court judge, you cannot go with this dress. You have to have a dress of a judge. But you may wear tilak and kantimala, that nobody will stop. Even one time I met one pilot who is a devotee. I was saying, why you don't have kantimala? So he was saying, because they don't allow. The airline people, they say you cannot wear kantimala. He was only co-pilot. I met another pilot who was the main pilot. He said, no, I'm wearing kantimala and I have tilak while I fly the plane. So you have to see, but he cannot wear this kind of dress. He must have the dress of a pilot, as we know, or so that has to be worn. But he can have kantimala, he can have tilak. But then at home, he can wear dhoti, or if he has vacation, then he can have the dress. That is helping one to follow one's religion, one's occupational duty, one's service to God. Because if one is not wearing, there's a tendency not to be engaged in devotional activities and then be influenced by others. So therefore it is important also. Vaishnava behavior, sadachar, proper behavior, that we have to know from the scriptures, from the spiritual master, what is proper behavior, what we should do, what we should not do. For example, we eat with the right hand. The saintly person, they will eat with the right hand, or the fingers they will eat, not with the left hand. In the West, they eat with the right hand, left hand, no issue, same. But in India, or in Vedic culture, Vaishnava culture, we eat with the right hand. The left hand is used for something else. After going to the bathroom, second number, we clean the backside with this hand. So that is always, even if we wash with soap, it is considered impure. Even you wash with soap. Therefore, when we do the seva also, we ring the bell. That bell is worshipped also as a paraphernalia of the Lord, tadiya. And so by ringing the bell, so the hand is in a purified state. Or if we don't have the bell and we offer artik to the Lord, we have to put the left hand to the right hand. That is the tradition. So small things are there, so which we learn from the spiritual master, and that should be implemented in our life. And that will be helpful So we can perform our duty, our main duty to serve the Lord, and secondary to act according to our existence in this material world, according to Varna Ashram. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master, he told about the main activities of a devotee, but then he explained also we have to follow Varna Ashram Dharma. That is important. Otherwise, it might be difficult to remain properly situated in pure devotional service. Then he's explaining also in regards to the material science and civilization in this world. So, material science is there, but that is not perfect, the material science. But we respect. At the same time, he have wanted some of his disciples. There was one of his disciples, Bhaktiswarup Damodar Maharaj, who was a scientist, but he was from a family from Assam, Manipur. So the culture is their Vaishnava culture. So when he met Prabhupada, he became a devotee. And then he was still continuing the science, but then he was also explaining to the scientists he was meeting about the existence of God and proving, according to the Srimad-Bhagavatam, the scripture, about the existence of God according to the scriptures. And for example, the position of the planets in the universe according to the scriptures, that is perfect and complete. Whereas in a material science, it is not perfect and complete. Some things, they have some knowledge, some understanding, which is okay, but it is not complete and perfect. So therefore we have to, whatever we are doing, we have to have the scriptures with us also. Even how to make buildings, Vastu Shastra. Vastu means an object, Vastu. Or for example, you make a house. Where is the kitchen? That we have to know. Agni Kon. Agni means the fire. That is the southeast corner of the house. The kitchen should be there. And Isha Kon, northeast. Isha. Isha means the Lord. The deity should be there. The deity should be in the house and the Isha Kon. So Vastu Shastra is there. If you go do a building according to Vastu Shastra, you may be healthy, physically and mentally. If the house is not according to Vasta, there will be some difficulty. So therefore, whenever possible, we should follow Shastra, even in this, for our material existence. According for health also, we follow Ayurveda Shastra. That what we should eat in morning, noon and evening. For example, sour things, tomatoes, we should not eat in the evening. Yogurt, dahi, we should not take in the evening. So that is explained. We should not eat too spicy foodstuffs, too much chili, too many fried foodstuffs. So it is explained what to eat, when to eat. And the summer season we take cooling things, winter season heating things. So as much as possible we have to follow Shastra even for living peacefully in this world. And so in material science and civilization, they have some knowledge, but it is not perfect and complete. So therefore, we always try to follow Shastra, even in regards to our material existence. And then Nitya Dharma and history. So different, in each country there's a history. How the country was, when it was formed, and who are the different presidents of the country or whatever. So that so we should have some knowledge in that also, but especially in regards to the history of Bharatvarsha of India, which is based on the scriptures, which is given by the Supreme Lord himself or a representative of the Supreme Lord. And by hearing the history of Bharatvarsha, for example, Mahabharata, or Ramayana, and different Puranas, then we can learn how to worship the Lord and how to live in this material world, how to behave properly according to time, place and circumstances, what to do and what not to do. And then he's explaining also about the deity worship, the deities in the temple, which we are worshipping, and then idolatry. Like even the Christians, they say we should not make an image of God. So therefore, many of the Christians, they are saying, why you have idols? But these are not idols actually. The deity Archa Vigraha, so not different from the Lord. And they have been made according to the information of the scriptures and according to information or the guidance of the spiritual master, the saintly persons. So these are not idols. Deity and idol, that is a different thing. Like you may have an idol of whatever it may be, whoever it may be, Mahatma Gandhi, like in India, or Subhash Chandra Bose, or whoever. Even here in India, we have, or in the West, in Switzerland, Germany, we have different idols of some statesperson or so. And if you worship that form, that is a kind of idol worship, and that is not recommended. But worshipping the deities, because it is according to the scriptures, according to the information of the spiritual master, that should be done, and that will help us to advance in spiritual life in order to establish our relationship with God, because now we cannot see God. So therefore we cannot serve God, because we have not seen, because it's beyond our material eyes. But when we worship the deity, which is according to the scriptures, according to the spiritual master, like Nrsingadev, half man, half lion, that is according to scripture. Nrsingadev Bhagavan, that is there in the Srimad-Bhagavatam, in the 7th canto. Or, for example, Ramchandra Bhagavan is in the 9th canto. So then we make the murti are made according to Shastra, according to the spiritual master, and they can be worshipped. There's a process of deity worship known as Archan, and Nitya Seva, the daily seva of the Lord, according to scriptures, for the pleasure of the Lord. And then, by doing that, then we can advance in our spiritual life and realize our spiritual nature. And then we can realize God as He is, and we can see Him with spiritual life, Dibya Chakshu, Jnana Chakshu, Shastra Chakshu. With divine vision we can see Krishna, and that will be the perfection of life. So in order to advance in spiritual life, so there's a process called as sadhana bhakti. Sadhana, according to the instructions of the spiritual master, he will tell us what to do on a daily basis, so that we can advance in our spiritual life. And that is 2 parts in our sampradaya. So that is, one is Vaidhi Bhakti, following rules and regulations, and the other one is Raganuga Bhakti, following the eternal associates of Krishna and Braj, the Brijabasis, who have deep love, rag, for Krishna. Anuga, Anugatya, following them, that is known as Raganuga Bhakti. In order to go to Golok Vrindavan, to join Krishna's pastimes, we have to perform Raganuga Bhakti. Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti, but still also following rules and regulations. Vaidhi Bhakti, Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. So that has to be followed, and then we can advance. And then we can come to a higher stage, which is known as Bhav Bhakti. One is on the platform of the soul, then the relationship with Krishna will be established. The exchange with Krishna, that will be established. Bhav Seva, with transcendental emotions. In the conditioned state in the beginning, so our emotions are not pure. So therefore we follow the rules and regulations, we follow sadhana bhakti. So that is the first part, is about Sambandha Gyan. So knowing our position as the eternal servant of Krishna, and then trying to slowly but surely engage in this way. So we stop here. It is almost 8 o'clock. If anyone has any question. Yes?
Prabhu, sometimes I heard that devotees refer to Srila Prabhupada as not being very concerned with Vastu.
Yes.
And I would like to know what you understand about this.
Yes. Yes, you see.
I will hear from...
Yeah, fine. Yes, so that is a good point. Some devotees say Prabhupada was not so much concerned in regards to Vastu. Actually, Prabhupada had knowledge in regards to Vastu, in regards to Ayurveda, Jyotish Shastra, he had some knowledge. But you see, to become perfect in everything is not possible. But Prabhupada was a pure devotee, engaged in pure devotional service, and he had enough knowledge in order to give the knowledge to others for the benefit of his disciples, so they may live peacefully and may advance in their spiritual life. So, just like for example, not only Vastu but Jyotish Shastra, Prabhupada, many times he was saying, I'm not traveling on Thursday, especially south, because according to Jyotish Shastra, we should not go south for traveling. Like now, for example, if you are in Germany and you have to go to Italy, which is in the south, we should not go on Thursday, because that will not be auspicious. And you may be getting into an accident, maybe. It may be. But so Prabhupada was trying to follow, like Jyotish Shastra, Ayurveda. He knew about Ayurveda because he himself was a physician. And he gave to his disciples also some tips what to do in regards of taking care of the health. So similarly, I'm sure he knew also about Vastu Shastra to some extent, but sometimes you have to be practical, like if you are in the West, you have to stay in a flat. Or Prabhupada, sometimes he got some building and then he made a temple, and it was not completely according to Shastra, or Vastu Shastra. But then if Krishna in the center, then you don't have to be so much concerned in regards to Vastu, and you may be still okay. And you can tolerate the difficulties which are there. But the point is, if possible, then you should follow Vastu Shastra. And while traveling also, she was considering if it is Thursday, was not going south. But if it is an emergency, then you just remember Nishingadev, and then you may just go, and no problem. So we try to follow as much as we have the knowledge and as much as possible. But then we depend on Krishna. We don't depend on Ayurveda, we don't depend on Jyotish Shastra, we don't depend on Vastu Shastra. We should not. But we take help. We take help from that. And sometimes you can see devotees actually then, they go to an astrologer, they want to know about the future, because actually they may have some difficulty in their life, and they want to know when is a better time for me. They go to the astrologer. Astrology is saying do this and this and this and that. And then sometimes they become all deviated and they forget about just to depend on Krishna. But we have to depend on Krishna. But we may take the help of astrology. We may take the help of Vastu Shastra, if possible. Like even when Parikshit Maharaj appeared, when he was born, immediately they did a horoscope. Although no need, but still, because the parents want to know. And then, for example, for a marriage ceremony, they will see the horoscope of the boy and the girl, and they will do the male and the matching, if they will match. So that can be of a help. But we depend on Krishna, and we serve Krishna. And then even if it is some difficulties there, even according to horoscope, it might be okay. But if one is following horoscope, one is not worshipping Krishna, there still might be divorce. So we have to depend on Krishna, or we take the help as much as possible. So that is the main point which we have to see. That it may be a help. Just like, for example, you are in the city and you have to cross the road. It is noontime. It is crowded. The cars are going. It is green light for the cars and you have red light. So what do? You don't cross the road, no? Because it is red. Because if you cross the road, then you may be run over. Or sometimes even the car is far away and the red light is there and you cross. If the police is there, they will give you, you have to pay some money, right? Challan, there's a penalties there. So you have to follow the law. But night time, for example, if it is 8 o'clock in the evening or 9 o'clock, the light is still there, green or red, but if there are no cars are there, no police is there, you may cross and there may be no problem. So you have to see time, place and circumstances. You have to use your intelligence also, and you depend on Krishna. And you pray to Krishna to guide you, to help you, to protect you. So it can be helpful, and we take as much as possible help from the scriptures in our life also. Vastu Shastra, Jyotish Shastra, Ayurvedic Shastra, we may take the help as much as possible, but we have to depend on Krishna, that is important. So Prabhupada was doing that. He had knowledge and he was, if possible, he was taking the help. It is a kind of voice, an indication what may be beneficial, but then you have to depend on Krishna. So Prabhupada was a very practical person, and he was seeing time, place and circumstances, but he was knowledgeable, and so then he was using as much as possible or following as much as possible, but depending on Krishna. And if one has devotion, if one has developed devotion for Krishna, which Prabhupada is a pure devotee, he had already pure love. So, but just to set the example, he was following. And the Acharya, so he is following the scriptures for the benefit of the common man, always. Yad yad acharate sheshtas tattatevada jana saya paramam kurute lokos tato navatate. Because if the Acharya, the spiritual master, is not following, then other people will say, well, he's not following, why should I follow? So he was following the rules and regulations, Vaidhi Bhakti, the scriptures as much as possible, according to time, place and circumstances. But he was very practical, and therefore he was successful. Just like an example also, now there's a controversy in India. Because in Jagannath Puri, Snan Yatra is on a certain day and Rath Yatra is on a certain day. And they say that we have to follow all over the world on the same day. You cannot have Snan Yatra on any other day, Rath Yatra any other day. And even now they want to go to the court in India, which is ridiculous. I want to make a court case against ISKCON. Because Prabhupada, according to time, place and circumstances, in the West, in India, he tried to follow, but in the West, sometimes not possible. Because during the week, not many devotees are there, first of all. Second of all, just like in Zurich, Rath Yatra is this Sunday. But Rath Yatra is actually 27th, 5 days later, on a when is it, Thursday maybe, or Friday, 27th. And even they tried to have Rath Yatra on 29th, but they didn't get the permission. So they had to do on the 22nd. So what to do? So Prabhupada was practical. He knew, and in India he tried to follow, but in the West it was not possible. So Prabhupada was very, very practical in whatever he was doing. And therefore he was successful. And he was empowered by Krishna. So he was trying to follow his spiritual master, the previous Acharya, Shastra as much as possible. But then he was depending on Krishna. He was inspired by Krishna according to time, place and circumstances. And he was successful. So, but as much as possible, he was following Shastra also. Even Jyotish Shastra and Ayurveda Shastra and Vastu Shastra, if possible. Okay? Pujari, okay? Okay, he's busy. Any other question? Okay, we stop here. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki. Satyanandana Gaura Hare ki. Lakshmi Nrsingadev ki. Prahlad Maharaja ki. Sri Radha Shyama ki. Mahaprasadam ki. So we have some Mahaprasad. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
This is okay to eat in the evening according to Shastra?
A little bit is Mahaprasad, you can take a little bit.